Hello everyone! I just got done running a few laps around the racetrack with Nebula since she seemed to have a lot of excess energy this morning. This video is one that's been in the works for a while, so I'm super excited to finally be sharing it with you guys. As I'm sure you guessed from the title of this video, I'm going to be horse shopping for new lesson horses. Firefly Fields is definitely long overdue for more horses to join its lesson program, which is why I'm filming this video. As I'm speaking to you now, I've actually already gone and visited all the horses I plan on trying out, but I haven't decided on who to buy yet, which is where you guys come in. Feel free to leave a comment below letting me know which horse or horses were your favorite, and I will definitely keep your suggestions in mind when making the final decision. Now, onto the horses. The first horse I tried out was Blitzen, a 16-year-old Shire thoroughbred cross belonging to Jorvik's stables. Standing at 17.8 hands, he was described in his ad as a gentle giant, which I can definitely attest to as I had actually ridden him before even moving to Firefly Fields. In case you were unaware, I used to ride at Jorvik's stables, and before owning my own horse, would ride him during lessons on occasion, so Blitzen and I were already pretty well acquainted with each other. I was actually given the opportunity to go see him by an old trainer of mine when I told her I was looking for more horses to add to Firefly Fields. When I arrived, he was already tacked up and ready to go, which wasn't a big deal since I've observed his ground manners before, which are excellent. While giving him a little warm-up, I noticed how Blitzen's trot actually adjusted to match my stride, which really proved how much experience he had with different riders and disciplines. Despite being very gentle and sweet, he also wasn't hesitant to let me know if I was doing something wrong. In this clip here, you can see that I wasn't entirely focused on the jump and we approached it a bit wobbly. Blitzen did not let that slide and immediately stopped, which definitely brought my attention back to him and what I was supposed to be doing. Another thing I noticed was that his ability to jump was definitely better than most Shires I've ridden, which was likely due to the thoroughbred in him. Overall, Blitzen seemed like a suitable fit for Firefly Fields. We provide lessons in disciplines including but not limited to dressage and hunter jumping, and I could see Blitzen being a great lesson horse in both. A couple days later, I began the drive to Goldenleaf Acres bright and early to try out a 7-year-old Chincoteague pony named Tawny, standing at 13.4 hands. When I first saw her ad, I initially didn't think much of it as I figured that a 7-year-old pony would simply be too young and inexperienced. I was looking for horses that would need little to no training before having kids popped onto their backs, and I figured Tawny just wouldn't be that. However, I kept seeing her ad all over a Facebook group for buying and selling horses that I was in, and eventually, after seeing this cute pony's face so many times, I just had to go see her. When I arrived, Tawny was already tacked up, which was a little bit of a shame since I would have liked to see how her ground manners were. The second we entered the paddock, I immediately noticed how easily distracted she was. She kept stopping to look at bugs and birds, which is a behavior that can be trained out of a horse, but as I said, I'd much rather get a horse that needs little to no training. When moving into the trot, I had to use a lot of leg, definitely more than I was used to, but that wasn't necessarily a bad thing. There were some jumps set up in the paddock, so I did get to jump Tawny. She was certainly a fine enough jumper as advertised, but she just didn't seem experienced enough. Maybe she hadn't been properly acclimated to the paddock, but she seemed really unsure around the jumps and did refuse a couple. I really don't think we'll be getting Tawny. I'm sure that with proper training and time, she could become a great lesson pony, but with the show season coming up and the barn being revamped, the timing just wasn't right. The next day, I tried out an adorable 11-year-old halflinger quarter cross named Peaches, standing at 14.3 hands. Her ad stated that despite not having the best ground manners, she was a talented horse and had eventing experience. As I mentioned earlier, show season is coming up and Peaches could prove valuable to riders without their own horses. When I arrived at Tulip Meadows, a cozy barn not too far from Firefly Fields, Peaches was still in the paddock, so I got the opportunity to catch and tack her up myself. Just as the ad stated, her ground manners could definitely use some work. Catching her proved to be easier said than done, and she was pretty fidgety while I tacked her up, but other than that, she wasn't too difficult. Just from the way she'd been acting, I was expecting her to be mischievous and sassy in the arena, but the second we got in there, it was like I was riding a whole different horse. Peaches had such a graceful gait and remained entirely focused on whatever I asked her to do. We warmed up with some circles, which she loved, before getting into jumping. As expected, Peaches was a wonderful jumper. I really wanted to try doing some dressage with her, but unfortunately I was unable to. When talking to her owner, who was a college student who found herself lacking the time and energy to own a horse, she assured me that Peaches excels in dressage as well, but she does sometimes get a little ahead of herself. I would have loved to see it for myself, but I figured it wasn't absolutely necessary. I could definitely see Peaches being a great fit for younger and older riders alike, especially during the upcoming show season. Now, onto the final horse I tried, Bingo. Bingo was a 15-year-old Tennessee Walker, standing at 16 hands. I actually tried out Bingo on the same day I tried Peaches, so I had to drive straight from Tulip Meadows over to the Moreland Rescue Ranch. I found out from his ad and from talking with the owner of the ranch that his previous owner had unexpectedly passed, and as a result, Bingo was left in a small barn all alone for weeks. When he was found, he had hardly any food or water left, and he was understandably terrified. Despite it being quite a while since that traumatic event, it still impacts Bingo to this day. When I read this, I immediately wanted to give him a big hug, lots of treats, and let him into Firefly Fields. But of course, I had to be a responsible barn manager and keep in mind what was best for the stables. After having a chat with the owner of the ranch off camera about Bingo, I went to go greet him. He was really nervous, but warmed up to me immediately after I fed him some of the sugar cubes I was given by the ranch owner. He let me put tack on him as long as I kept giving him sugar cubes, and I led him over to the paddock without a problem. It truly was such a shame that he had been in such a tragic situation, because he genuinely had the smoothest, most comfortable gait I have ever experienced. I knew he would have been snatched up by someone and lived such an amazing, pampered life if he wasn't so skittish and needed so much training. It killed me knowing that I might end up being another one of those people that passed him up. We didn't get to jump, but I was told that Bingo did show in the hunter ring a few times with his previous owner, so there was some potential there. I wanted to give Bingo another chance at life so badly, but that's not what this horse shopping video was supposed to be about. I was not expecting to be faced with such a dilemma while horse shopping. We certainly have room for Bingo and the ability to support him. I would really appreciate it if you guys could offer your opinions on what I should do in the comments below. Now I have a lot of thinking to do. Once I do make the final decision as to which horse or horses I will be buying, I'll announce it on my Instagram, which is linked in the description. I'll see you all next time. Bye!